Fergie has nowhere to go and no one to go with. Brutal, isn't it? It reads less like a news headline and more like the final chapter of a royal tragedy, a line that could have been written by Shakespeare if he'd ever been invited to tea at Buckingham Palace. But this isn't fiction. This is Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, or should we say former Duchess of York, because the palace has made it crystal clear. The titles are gone, the keys to the royal lodge are being pried from her hands, and the fairy tale that started with a trumpet fanfare in 1986 has officially hit its closing credits. After nearly 4 decades orbiting the royal machine, Fergie is being firmly escorted out of the frame. She and Prince Andrew have reportedly been ordered to vacate Royal Lodge, their Windsor mansion of over 30 rooms, the same house where she rebuilt her life after scandal, divorce, and disgrace. Let's call it what it is, an eviction with ermine trim, the royal way of saying you've overstayed your welcome. According to palace insiders, King Charles himself authorized the move. The property, owned by the Crown Estate, is being reclaimed, and the lease Andrew held for 75 years is now being reviewed. Translation: pack your bags, Yorks, you're done. It's poetic, really. For decades, that sprawling house was a symbol of their strange, stubborn loyalty, the divorced couple who still lived together, dining together, defending each other, pretending that somehow they were still a royal unit. But the eviction makes it painfully clear the system has run out of patience. And as if losing the roof wasn't enough, the titles are next. Prince Andrew's been stripped of his HRH, his military affiliations, his ceremonial roles, the full royal reboot. And now the fallout's reaching Fergie. She's been told to stop using the title Duchess of York. Just like that. Gone. The one thing she clung to even when everything else fell apart. You can almost feel the humiliation in that silence. The title wasn't just her brand, it was her identity, her passport back into relevance. Without it, she's just Sarah, a woman in her mid-60s, uninvited, unneeded, and possibly soon unhoused. The irony? She's furious. Sources say she's fuming about being pushed out, saying the monarchy is trying to erase her, that after years of loyalty, she's being left behind, like yesterday's scandal. Well, welcome to the royal playbook, Sarah. They don't give second chances, just polite exits. Let's rewind for a second. Sarah Ferguson entered the royal scene as the flame-haired firecracker. Funny, relatable, but girl next door who brought laughter to the stiff corridors of Windsor. She was Diana's best friend, Andrew's lively new bride, the perfect antidote to royal gloom. And for a while, she played her part beautifully. But this monarchy doesn't like too much color, and Fergie was technicolor chaos. Then came the scandals, the toe-sucking photos, the debts, the cash for access sting where she tried to sell introductions to Andrew. Each one chipped away at her reputation, and the royal family, masters of the cold shoulder, let her drift. Still, she stayed close, through it all. When Andrew was accused and disgraced over his Epstein ties, she stood by him, publicly, proudly. Some called it loyalty, others called it delusion. But for Fergie, that loyalty was her lifeline, her way back to the royal inner circle. And now, both of them are paying the price. King Charles is running a tighter, leaner monarchy, one that doesn't have room for relics of royal embarrassment. And while William and Catherine are ushering in the era of duty, dignity, and diplomacy, Fergie and Andrew have become living reminders of what the firm wants to forget. And the eviction from Royal Lodge isn't just about property. It's about pruning the past, about removing the ghosts of scandal from Windsor's pristine lawns. And with the title stripped, the message couldn't be clearer. The Yorks are no longer part of the royal ecosystem. So, yes, when friends tell the Daily Mail at Fergie has nowhere to go and no one to go with, it hits deeper now. Because that's not just poetic exaggeration, it's the truth. The lodge was her safety net, her final foothold in royal life. And without that address, what's left? Imagine being Sarah Ferguson today, waking up to headlines about your eviction, your title gone, your name reduced to a punchline. It's not just the end of an era, it's the end of an identity. But here's the part that twists the knife. She still loves that world. She still adores the royal machine that never truly loved her back. The woman wrote children's books, launched charities, attended events, even tried the self-help route. Forgiveness, healing, rebirth. She tried everything short of storming Buckingham Palace herself. But the message remains the same. Once you're out, you stay out. There's a quiet cruelty in how this monarchy handles its messes. They don't yell, they don't curse, they just erase. And for a woman like Sarah, who's lived half her life under royal shadow, that silence is louder than any scandal. Still, part of me thinks maybe this is the freedom she never knew she needed. Maybe losing the title, the mansion, the illusion. Maybe that's her real chance at starting over. She's always called herself a survivor. Well, here's the final test. Because let's face it, the monarchy may have dropped her, but the world hasn't. People are fascinated by her. They pity her, mock her, but they watch her. And if she plays her cards right, she could own that narrative. No more bowing, no more waiting for royal approval. Just Sarah, unfiltered, unpredictable, unstoppable. Still, the poetic sting remains. The woman once called her Royal Highness, now reduced to headlines about having nowhere to go. The grand house in Windsor being packed up like an unwanted memory. The title that once opened every door, gone like morning mist. And maybe that's the perfect royal metaphor. How the crown can make you, and just as easily, unmake you. So as the moving vans roll up to Royal Lodge and Fergie looks back one last time at the house that held her dreams and disasters, maybe she'll realize the truth that every royal exile eventually learns. The crown never really belongs to you. You belong to it. And once it's done with you, it lets you know. But even so, don't count her out just yet. Fergie's like a bad headline. She always comes back. And if the palace thinks this is the last they've seen of her, well, they clearly haven't met the comeback queen in full flight. Because this might be her eviction, but it's also her resurrection.